Hi, YouTube. Like, subscribe, and share. All right. There's not a whole lot going on in the world, gypsy world, right now. I pretty much explained to you guys everything that happened. I have to watch all my, my videos. I pretty much explained the deal with her. We know she doesn't really have a baby. We know she's got to get rid of it some kind of way here, some way, somehow here, pretty quick too. I think we just got to keep an eye on that. All right. Look for the sad story of how her baby's taken or dies or something. We know that, right? So until then, you know, I want to talk more about some things with Lucifer and stuff. But right now, I want to touch on what's probably the most serious thing going on. Okay? They're keeping it from us in the news. They're not really telling us what's going on, but things are getting very, very serious. Again, here we're talking about Russia again, guys. And I told you this is a grand plan. This is a huge plan that NATO's had for over 40 years to eventually move into Russia, take over and invade Russia. They're making it all look like, oh, Ukraine, poor Ukraine, and their territorial integrity and sovereignty and all. No, that's bullshit. They're provoking them. And then they want to wear Russia down as low as they can and then invade. I've told you this. And put it into 10 different regions and take all their natural resources. That has been the plan with Russia. Okay? Russia's the only holdout that will not go along with the one world government. China will double cross Russia in the end. Okay? But that's some whole other videos. All right? I need you to understand the brevity of what is happening now with Russia and how they are turning up the heat everywhere. Like I said, Russia's main thing is oil and gas. Now they have all these other earth minerals and all kinds of other things that they could, if people would leave them the fuck alone for once. But right now, oil and gas is their thing. They're at the point now where they're having to import because they are blowing up under the direction of Trump. Trump, the American president, always leads NATO and everything, the whole thing. That's the deal. The American president does. To knock out their infrastructure, how they refine their oil and gas, how they, you understand. Russia is having to import oil and gas for its own people. There are big lines of people in queue waiting to get it that are only even allowed, they're rationing it. You can only get so much. Okay? He's only going to put up with this for so long. Now look what is happening now. Estonia, which is a small little member of NATO, has decided that, okay, St. Petersburg in Russia. St. Petersburg is a huge city, like Moscow, okay? Huge. It's a port city. Huge. They have to go through, it's right there in the Baltic Sea, and it goes through the Baltic Sea and then out in the ocean. That Baltic Sea there, that is international waters. Estonia now is going to come up under the direction of, you know the deal, and are going to say that, no, where Russia, their shipping that they go through there, where it is in international waters, anyone's allowed to be, they're going to say, no, 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 that's ours, and Russia can't go through there anymore. Okay, they're going to try to block off St. Petersburg from trying to import, so Russia can't import, export shit that way. All of a sudden, and they're talking about doing some kind of blockade of them. Okay, that's an act of war, number one. That is an act of war if they pull that. Okay? Also, Donald Trump now has made it okay to take these Tomahawk cruise missiles that can go over 1,000 miles or kilometers or whatever. All I know is it can hit St. Petersburg and they can hit Moscow. But here's the difference between the other ones. There are other missiles that could go that far, but they're delivery systems that only have conventional warheads can be affixed to them. Okay? Just because a missile can go somewhere and can travel wherever, it doesn't necessarily mean any kind of warhead, you can just put on the tip of it. You can't just attach anything you want to it and send it on over there just because it will go that way. All right? There are certain delivery systems that nuclear war-tipped warheads can go on. And these fucking Tomahawk ones are those. So this is the first time now And there's a reason they're doing this. It is an escalation. They're sending in, they're going to allow, and they also, Donald Trump has also signed off on, we're using our American intelligence to fire these weapons off to do the, listen to me, what they do is okay, the whole earth is coordinated out. Every little point they have a coordinate. These weapon systems are programmed to hit the coordinates. That's why they're hitting these refineries and stuff dead on. Okay, they have almost 100% accuracy. They just program in the coordinates to where it goes, and that's where the motherfucker goes. And unless somehow they shoot it down or retrieve it some kind of way on the way, it's going to land where they program it into land. Here's the thing, though: Ukrainians are trained under the Eastern and the Russian weapon systems. They're an Eastern European country. You can't just take someone that's only been trained on that way in their whole military and then say, oh, well, it's no big deal. Here, we'll just train you real quick how to. It's not like just pushing some buttons. It's not like a fucking 8-hour class we can teach you how to work this weapon system. It's a totally different way of doing it. And then there's language barriers and all types of shit anyway. You can't do that. American military intelligence is doing the targeting, telling them what to target, us putting in the coordinates. In essence, American military is supplying and firing these long-range weapons that have the potential to have nuclear warheads on them. And Russia knows that. And when every time they see if those are flying towards Moscow, they have to figure out or decide, or I don't know, whether there's whether tipped with a tactical nuclear weapon or not. Or maybe not even a tactical one, maybe a full-blown one on there. They don't know. Do you think they're just going to allow that? Do you think Russia's just going to allow that? Just to sit there and be a sitting duck and say, well, let's see where these motherfuckers, what if they shoot a few of them off? Well, let's see where these motherfuckers land here in Moscow, and then we'll act. No, that's not what's going to happen, guys. So that's another act of war. That is an escalation like nowhere before. There has nothing been an escalation like this. Donald Trump has signed off on, told him, hit wherever you want. There's no sovereign place in Russia, he told. There's no safe place at all in Russia. Hit wherever the fuck you want with these weapons that will go all the way into Russia, except for the very, very, very far eastern part. For sure, Moscow and all the major cities. No problem. And you can fix a warhead, and Russia knows it. Plus, Estonia is trying to squeeze them by telling them, now we're going to try to close your port down. Now, whatever that means, what is that going to mean? They're going to, what? Not to mention the third act of war. Russia had an oil tanker going. That's how they deliver their oil to people if there's not a pipeline. Okay? Russia exports oil and gas to people. That's how they deliver on these oil tankers. The French military in international waters, for no reason except for just they wanted to, pulled over a Russian tanker. This is not a military one. These are just people that work for a Russian oil company that are just the people that not even the oil company probably, just the people that fucking transport company. The French military in international waters pulled them over and boarded their shit and have seized it and says, well, we're just going to hold on to it for a few weeks so we can disrupt Russia's, to do that to their economy and to try to do that to them financially. We'll just disrupt them a few weeks. This is what they're saying. That's another act of war they've done. They're doing this all at one time to Russia. So again, please prepare, guys. If you've ever listened to some crazy man that you've never met on the internet talking crazy, please listen to me when I tell you to get some clean water. Also get a way to purify water if this goes long term. Get some canned goods, some dry rice and beans, an alternate way to cook it, an alternate way to keep warm, and some rudimentary medical supplies. Guys, when the shit hits the fan, one way or another, they're going to take down our internet. And they'll probably point fingers at some other country and blame it on them. Or some other country will take our shit down. Okay? And this is, guys, when the shit hits the fan with Russia, either way it goes, they're going to cut off our communications and stuff some kind of way. They're not going to let us see and hear what's really happening. Guys, go read 1984. Okay? Because that's happening right now. That was their warning. That was their warning. Right? 1984. It's about what? About 40 years ago. I like to do those 40-year warnings. Okay, guys, please prepare. Because they're provoking Russia for a reason, for a purpose. And all of those three things are acts of war against Russia. They can only put up with so much. Their people are only going to put up with so much. Okay, guys? Please prepare. And like I said, right now, I got nothing going on much with GYPSY. I'm preparing stuff on this Giroux. She 100% is trafficking children to wealthy elites for the defilement rituals. And she preys on people in these broken homes, or people that are in the system or what have you. And she's supposed to be there to help them. She's supposed to be their attorney to help them through the system. And then what she does is she turns on them. Or it's in the best interest, I guess, for these children to go to this. Well, I got a nice, wealthy home where they'll have everything. This is what she's doing, and she gets paid for it. She's hunting people's children, using her authority, where she's positioned herself as a family law attorney, to be able to do this. And I'm getting reports, but I don't know specifics yet for sure. I'm getting stuff in from a couple of people, but I don't know the specifics. And I know specifics, but I don't know there's really proof of that. So I don't want to. But I can speak in general. I have to be careful that she's an attorney too, man. But in general, I know what she's doing. And I'll say that right to her fucking face. But these specific things that I'm getting in that I'd like to tell everyone about, because it's bizarre what she's doing. And then she'll also have these people as her clients, right? With their kids in the system, or she's trying to help the family, supposed to be. And what she does is, all of a sudden, at a very critical point, she'll withdraw from the case, which you're not even really supposed to do. A judge is really supposed to, has to allow that. You can't just withdraw from someone's fucking case because you just want to, right? A judge has got to. But of course, if you're in the big club we ain't in, right? Like she is, and they probably just granted. Okay, I guess she does. So she's withdrawing from cases at the most critical times, and then it leaves the family vulnerable. You understand, right? Okay. She is actively removed in La Peroche Parish, Louisiana, or however the fuck you say it. She is actively removing children from their homes, broken homes, people that their parents are having little problems or whatever, instead of helping them reunite with the family or keep the family together or whatever. She's actively working against them to remove them so she can get paid. So her and her fucking children can live privileged lives off the back of these other children, just because they're poor and they're not a fucking part of the elite. See, that's how it goes. You're not in the club and you're just some poor, uneducated trash, unlike us, wonderful people, elites, then fuck you. We can do whatever we want to you and your children. What are you going to do about it? That's how it goes, guys. So right now, I don't have much to say about GYPSY, but I will. I'm working on this shit with Giroux to come up with something. But this is real with Russia, and I'm going to have some other things to talk about soon. I'll see you in the next video.